Okay, we are recording. And so welcome everyone to our second annual Cherry Hill Seminary Wendy Griffin Professor of the Year Awards ceremony. I'm Wes, your host today. I'm chair of the Votaries Alumni Circle, who sponsors today's award and event. And so whether you're a, let's see, sorry, I'm meeting someone else. So welcome those of you who are joining. We're just getting started. And whether you're a current student at Cherry Hill, a graduate, a professor, or seminary staff, or a loyal supporter, thanks for joining us today. And we will be recognizing teaching excellence and a commitment to spiritual growth for students. And welcome to those who are continuing to join. The Professor of the Year Award is one way that the Alumni Circle supports Cherry Hill's mission of furthering education in pagan and nature spiritualities to transform our world. As an MDiv graduate myself, I benefited from the skilled, patient, and dedicated faculty here at Cherry Hill. And I know that without them, I wouldn't be doing the hospital chaplaincy work that I'm privileged to be doing right now. Let me admit these folks. So as, of course, we all come to Cherry Hill for different reasons, each of us following our own path towards service and spiritual growth. Now, it may sound grand to claim that with our Cherry Hill training and education, that we hope to somehow transform the world, but it's true in ways both big and small. I think if we can inspire just one person, then our world is transformed in that moment. And so today's award recognizes the faculty that make those transformations possible. If anyone else is just joining us, we're just getting started. Everyone is muted just to keep down background noise. So if you have a question or need anything, just pop that in the chat and I'll address that as soon as I'm able. And there will be time for questions at the end. To continue, our Wendy Griffin Award is very much a collaborative effort. I want to first thank all Votaries members for their time, energy, and financial gifts. I especially want to thank members Dana Dirksen and Gordon Green for their contributions toward today's event. I also want to thank the leadership of Cherry Hill for your ongoing support of Votaries. I want to thank current students for submitting award nominations. And naturally, I want to thank our fabulous faculty for doing what you do so well. Finally, I wish to thank the late Wendy Griffin herself, for whom our award is named, and for inspiring us all to reach for academic excellence. If you brought us several celebratory beverage, let's raise a toast together to Wendy. This is my morning coffee still here on the East Coast, which I need very much. So in a moment, we'll begin our program. Cherry Hill's new academic dean, Margot Wolf, will share some details about improvements and enhancements to the seminary's curriculum. And then alumna Dana Dirksen will tell us more about the Professor of the Year Award and the prizes that today's winner will receive. One of our current students will then introduce and announce our 2022 award winner. First, a few housekeeping notes. As I mentioned, everyone is on mute, but of course you can use the chat box to message each other, send me questions, and you can use the emoji reactions at the bottom of your screen if you hear something that you like and you want to respond to that. At the end, we will have time for questions or comments. As I mentioned earlier, we're also recording today's event, so if you wish to turn off your video, feel free to do so. We've got a few more folks joining. Welcome to those folks who are just joining. We are just getting started. Once again, if you have any questions or need anything, put that in the chat box. And so let's continue. Next, we'll have Holly E. Moore, who's our Executive Director of Cherry Hill, obviously, and a Votaries member and a MDiv graduate. Holly, I'd like you to jump in and share any news or Cherry Hill announcement that you may have. And let me see, can you unmute yourself? There we go.
Thank you. Well, you've all heard that Margot Wolf is our new academic dean, so I'm excited that she can be here for this year. What you may, what you may have seen in the newsletter, or if you missed it, is that our new librarian is none other than Dana Dirksen, Votaries member herself. Yay, Dana. So we're very excited about that. And not to be overlooked is Candace Cant, who's here, because she served as our academic dean, and before that was our dean of students, and has taught for Cherry Hill for I can't even remember how long. So thanks to all of you. And you know, really, this is while it still attracts a smallish group, this is the core. What we're doing this morning, this is the core of what Cherry Hill is about. You know, it's about our faculty and our students. And it's a mutual relationship, a mutually supportive relationship. Our students provide faculty with a reason to do what we do, and inspiration to think about things in a new way, and stimulation to learn more and to continue to challenge more students. And the faculty, of course, not only are subject experts, but their job is, as our little Hypatia card, if some of you've gotten that, says, to dare, to question, and to learn. And so at Cherry Hill, you may find yourself off balance at times. And that's part of our job. And also part of the job is to be there to help you as you regain your center and your balance, and then be there the next time. So this is a really mutually supportive environment and culture in which to learn. And I think some of the proof of that is that I'm still here since 2005, when I started as a student. and I love it, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Votaries, of course, is a bright light in that constellation between the faculty and the students. And it's a new group, and I do want to take just a second to thank Wes, who agreed to chair our initial group for the past, year and a half? Yeah, big, loud applause here. Because Wes has really taken this on and doing the lion's share of work. And I'm also grateful to those of you who are members, especially Dana and Gordy, for what you brought to the group. So I'm going to pass it on so we don't bore you with too many speeches, and introduce Dr. Margot Wolf, our academic dean. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, I'm assuming, to most of you. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Margot Wolf, and I was brought on in January to start as an academic dean. But before that, Wes did ask me to quickly just go over what we were doing before that. As many of you are probably aware, we were looking at assessing our curriculum and putting together a more standardized guide and an assessment plan so that we can continually look at that curriculum and update it as needed, and making sure that it was serving our students well. So we started off this plan back in, I think it was last spring. I think it was spring, maybe a little bit before that. And we did kind of a 360 review, pulling in information and survey information from students and faculty and staff, and then taking that, putting it to a gap analysis, and also determining what our metrics would be to assess our curriculum. And then we put together a fantastic curriculum committee that evaluated programmatic goals and course goals and realigning things. If you've ever done any curriculum mapping, that's really what we did for the bulk of the summer. And then putting together a guide that was much more comprehensive, and taking the pieces that were really working well and making sure that we were filling in any gaps that needed to be filled in, and then putting together an assessment plan for the whole thing. So while this project is pretty much completed, it's really the first stage. It's really just the beginning of continually assessing and making sure that what we are providing our students and what we are providing our faculty to help our students and help guide them is what they need. We know that things change in the world, and what new information that might come to us, or vision that come to us and say, this is, we need to redirect something. So this provides that mechanism for us to do that. So I'm really excited that this is nearing the completion of the first part, and we'll be announcing that to the faculty soon. And then hopefully looking at that as students and faculty and seeing where we can go from there. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to tell you quickly about this. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me today or in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Thanks for sharing a little bit about that and what you've been working on, and for joining us today. Next, I want to hand it over to Dana, who we've mentioned is not only a graduate of Cherry Hill's Community Ministry Certificate Program and a Votaries member, but she is also our new seminary staff librarian. And Dana, I'll hand it over to you to tell us a little more about the award and what our winner will receive. Dana, you're still muted. There we go.
All right, thank you. So each year, the Votaries Alumni Circle presents the Wendy Griffin Professor of the Year Award to a deserving faculty member who has demonstrated both excellence in teaching and a commitment to the intellectual and spiritual growth of their students. I did not know Dr. Griffin very well, but we did finally meet at the Greening of Religion conference in 2016. And at that time, I was a member of the Cherry Hill board. And I remember being really struck by her commitment to pagan scholarship, not only what she'd done in the past, but, you know, and also this commitment to Cherry Hill. It was inspiring and contagious. You know, everyone around her got the story and wanted to join and learn. She was an early pioneer in the academic study of goddess spirituality and Wicca. She was Cherry Hill's first permanent academic dean. She served on the American Academy of Religion and on the editorial board for the Pomegranate, the International Journal of Pagan Studies. So this award, we received nominations from currently enrolled students and who can submit nominations throughout the year for any faculty member who's taught a class within the last 12 months. The nomination form asks students to report on various aspects of their professors that demonstrate their ability to inspire, teach, and engage in the manner of Dr. Griffin. Once nominations are received, the Votaries members review them and select the winner. And the winner is awarded a trophy, which is beautiful, and a cash honorarium early the following year at a special ceremony. And here we are. Is there somebody who's going to announce the winner? No. I can't hear you, Wes.
Sorry. Thank you. I was just making sure that you were done. Thank you for sharing the remarks about the award. And I did want to give a special recognition of last year's award winner, the very first award winner, Deidre Summerlad Rogers, who's also here. Wave to us, Deidre. And today you will relinquish your crown and pass it on to someone else. But thanks for joining us today. To introduce and announce our winner, we have a current student at Cherry Hill, Shannon McLean. So I will pass it over to Shannon. And just be sure to unmute yourself, Shannon.
Good morning. Can you hear me? All right. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. As I traverse through this path, spiraling through life, I hold a simple idea: the gods are everywhere and that all things are sacred. That's not always been my belief. I struggled to break through the sort of chains of doctrine that many of us hold. I sought permission to believe the way I did, only to realize I never needed anyone's permission. I only needed my own. It was only when I found others who shared that belief that each of our paths are our own, unique and beautiful in its own divine way, that I could truly be free. It was my desire to help others with this revelation that eventually led me to study with today's award winner. I was already enrolled at Cherry Hill and I was loving it, but I wanted even more. I felt strongly I needed something extra to help develop the skill set that I wanted for my community and for my clients. I Googled life coach. I Googled spiritual coach. I Googled a combination of those words, spiritual life coach, and never felt those were the right words. They seemed off. I didn't want to coach anyone. What I sought was something closer to mentorship, a gentle guide, torchbearer, witness. And I couldn't find the name or the words to convey what I was seeking. So I let it be. And that's when Cherry Hill Seminary's spiritual direction certificate program fell onto my lap. I immediately got a heartstring pull. Explore this. I've read a little bit about the practice and the program and pondered how a pagan could utilize it within her practice. I applied and I was accepted to the first cohort of students. It felt good and I was incredibly excited for this new path. We are now almost a full year into the program. Has it been everything I hoped for? No, it's been more. We've studied various tools to help explore our spiritual paths and experience the gods in different ways. I've spent the last year exploring various spiritual practices, sometimes surface diving, sometimes falling deep into a rabbit hole. I've questioned and explored my own practices and beliefs and made more revelations about the nature of my divine and who I am and what I find joy in. That joy is not found in telling people what to do or what to believe or what to practice. Rather, that joy is found in listening to the stories of their journeys and their paths, to the moment of sacredness found within the mundane, and for the voices of the gods in the divine universe, and to witness the sacredness within another's life, to encourage and to share, to offer a space for two people, a companion and a seeker, and their gods, their sacred and their divine. And along the way, we've had one faculty member with us, serving as a teacher, mentor, and in our own way, a spiritual companion. This professor has helped us helped guide us through our own experiences, and not in terms of right answer or wrong answer, but in terms of sharing space and finding our sense. How do these things serve us, and how, as well as how will this help us serve our companions? This professor has challenged us and helped us reflect on that challenge, but at the same time offering an unending patience and grace. Just as I seek to hold the torch for others, this professor has held a torch for all of us in the cohort, saying, "I'll light the way, you explore." And through it all, she herself has grown, we believe, as we walk this first cohort together. If something wasn't working, she's adjusted. She's taken our feedback, our struggles, our failures, and turned them into places of growth, opportunity, and change. Fail forward, not backwards. She encourages each of us as we learn, grow, and explore, and takes the program she created and shifts it to meet the needs of her students as best she can. And I'm sure that's not easy, but she does so with a smile, with warmth and a gentle light that gives us a sense of security and support. It is my pleasure and honor to announce the winner of Cherry Hill Seminary's 2022 Wendy Griffith Professor of the Year Award to Amy Beltane. Congratulations, Amy, and thank you for all you do.
Congratulations, Amy. Feel free to unmute yourself and offer any remarks you'd like to share.
Thank you so much. My mom was a writer, an observer of human nature, and she passed down to me this trait. Whenever something touched her, whenever something felt meaningful to her, like sitting and watching people greet each other in the airport, she would cry. So here I am with tears in my eyes saying thank you. And this is the same experience I have when I am reading the discussions and reading the assignments that come in from the students in the spiritual direction program. I sit and I am just overwhelmed, bowled over, and so joyful that I cry while I read your assignments. I don't know if you knew that. It's such an honor, such a privilege, such a joy, and an amazing experience to be accompanying 12 people in this sacred work of finding a vocation, honing a vocation, and moving toward being able to serve the world through witnessing others' spiritual growth. And thank you for recognizing, yes, it's been an adventure as we do this first experience on Zoom, this first test run, which I kind of hope, those of you who are in the class, I kind of hope that some of the adjusting, building the plane as we go is part of the experience, right? We're all learning together. And I heard you say, Shannon, fail forward. That's my favorite phrase. We need to all take the opportunity to fail at least once a day. And I generally achieve that goal. So, yeah, there's that motto in my life. And then the other one is that I just hold and know that you, every single one of you is whole, holy, and good. And I'm here to say that to you in all the ways that I know how. So thank you
so much. Thank you so much, Amy. And I want to show you, it's a little hard to see, but this is your trophy that we will send to you soonish. So I hope you will look forward to displaying that. And if anyone would like to, I know a couple folks wanted to offer some comments. to Amy. So feel free to unmute yourself and do so.
Well, I just want to point out that Amy has so enriched the life of the seminary. She came to us with this idea and developed it. So she's not just teaching, she created this program and built the classroom, you know, has helped promote it and done so much with that. And then she also created this spiritual potluck, which is just a wonderful, wonderful service. And if you haven't been able to attend, you might just do what I do, which is pop in now and then when I'm able to. And then other people are regulars. But it also provides a service beyond our walls to people that maybe don't even know what Cherry Hill is. And Amy's been great about nurturing those people. And excuse me, but I have my marketing hat on for just a minute here and inviting some of those folks, some of whom are in this room today, to move forward in the program. So I just want to say thank you. That means a great deal to us that you're not just teaching a program, you're really part of the family and part of the culture we're building here. Thank you.
Well, I want to do some acknowledging, actually, now that you mentioned particularly the spiritual potluck, which we've adjusted to feast. So today it's a spiritual feast. Who knows what it'll be next year? In any case, that emerged out of the spiritual direction insights course that happened right in March of pandemic, the beginning of pandemic. And it emerged as a felt need among the participants in that course that suddenly we were locked down and we needed a way to connect with one another. So that has been just sort of an organic unfolding of the need and a way to fulfill it by coming together. We have people from Spain and from Oregon and all over the world attending, participating, contributing, and that's the sense in which it's a potluck. We all bring our gifts, spiritual gifts, to the experience. So if you have not attended, click in next time that email comes through the Cherry Hill list and join us. And perhaps I should also do some acknowledging. Yes, I've been building the plane with the help of my fellow flyers in this spiritual direction certificate, but the content was generously offered to me. The structure was generously offered to me by my teachers and mentors and colleagues in spiritual direction, training courses. That's part of what this profession is like, is that we are here to support one another because we are all on the project of being there for folks who are doing spiritual growth, finding their spiritual directions. So that kind of partnership, every month there is a guest speaker who comes out of the goodness and kindness of their heart to contribute to the growth of the students in the program. We've had guests from Australia come in and share wisdom with the class. And that kind of sense of we're all in this together. Another piece of the program is that we are building a cohort. These 12 people are getting to know one another, and it is my hope and my experience from my training that these are the folks who are going to be supporting, caring for, keeping accountable each other for years and years to come.
Thank you, Amy. Anyone else wish to offer any comments? Oh, Jeffrey, yes. Just be sure to unmute yourself, please.
Sure. Congratulations, Amy, on this well-deserved award here. You know, I think about what the words that Shannon shared, as well as Holly, about how Amy really created this program, and there was great need for this program. There are lots of spiritual direction programs here and there, and many of them are based on traditions. And there are a number of them that are have nature as a focus amongst others, but there aren't any that are pagan. There aren't any that really embrace pagan and nature-based spiritualities together. And in that sense, I think Amy has demonstrated great leadership in identifying this gap, because it's clearly a gap. Because there really isn't anybody who's specifically trained to deal with and meet some of the needs that the broader pagan community has. And I just think that that's so wonderful. And I just wanted to acknowledge that and to thank Amy for what she has done and what she continues to do in adjusting and adapting and really continuing to expand. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Anyone else? If not, you know, I was just thinking about this is a great opportunity to sort of highlight the Spiritual Direction Certificate, which is one of the Cherry Hill's newest educational offerings. And what Jeffrey was just saying about a cohort, you know, it reminds me of if you've done any clinical pastoral education towards chaplaincy, anything like that, it's similar. And there is certainly a benefit, I think, when you have a group of people going through a class or a program together. It's similar to, say, any other class, but there seems to be more of a definite focus on working together and supporting one another in a deeper way than just being in the same classroom. So Amy, is there anything else that maybe you could say about that, the nature of the cohort aspect of it?
Well, I want to acknowledge there's a couple of folks here who are part of the first cohort, the inaugural cohort. Jeffrey and Shannon and Aaron have been with me and each other for this last year and will be together for this coming year. And there are folks here who are part of cohort number 2, which is launching this April. Kim and I think I saw Tracy. And yeah, there you are. And this cohort is already shaping up to be really exciting. And if you know folks who might be interested, I'm going to do a plug, shameless plug. If you know anyone who is interested in serving people in this way, being a witness and a companion to walk with, to accompany folks as they find their spiritual direction, or simply wants deepening in their own spiritual journey. Holly put the link in to the program, and there is a little advertisement flyer email that Holly has available as well. So yeah, Jeffrey, way to reframe. Not a shameless plug, but an invitation. Come join us on this amazing journey. Come be part of the cohort. Come be part of this adventure that transforms you. You know, each time, right now we're doing admissions interviews. So each time I meet with a new student, I often share, this is not an academic program about papers and getting an A. This is a program about transforming yourself. This is what they say in Catholic tradition, formation. We are being reshaped, transformed, formed into who we can become and who we hope to become. in the course of the 2 years together. So we are being shaped by the curriculum, we're being shaped by each other. The members of the cohort and myself are all shaping one another into more deep, connected, and able to serve humans. And what does our planet need right now, right? Especially these last 2 years have taught us we are in desperate need of humans who can serve other humans with whole, open hearts.
And the more people are not affiliated with a group, and of course, pagans have always been primarily solitary, I think the more relevant the study is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I felt that gap that Jeffrey was talking about, that I ended up, well, my program that I went through for spiritual direction work was taught by a Catholic nun, housed in a Lutheran church. And the name of the program was Namaste. So, those programs are out there, but this was a small, intimate, in-person experience. And still, I was the only earth-relating, deities honoring person in that gathering and had to do a lot of translating. So being able to explicitly bring in earth-relating and deities honoring sensibilities and the many amazing traditions, both indigenous and more recently invented, um, those traditions are rich and deserve to be a part of our learning, and those communities need us to be out there offering our support. So I'm really so happy. Cherry Hill was the only seminary I approached with my program. I knew that it needed to be here that this work could be done.
Thank you. I love that because I think it sounds like this, the program opens up opportunities for folks who want to lead and serve, but maybe aren't, a coven leader, or maybe they don't want to do everything it takes to be an institutional chaplain or something like that. And so it gives the similar tools and equips them to fill that gap. Absolutely. I think that's a very great way to describe it. Any other questions for Amy about the spiritual direction program? Any other thoughts or comments before we move on?
I guess one question that I have is just what do you see as, and maybe it's written down somewhere and I haven't read it yet, about the requirements for admission to the program?
Yeah, it's written down and I'm not going to catch it all in just off the cuff, but what I'm looking for in the application, we asked for 2 essays, and one is your spiritual journey. I need to know that you have a spiritual journey that you have reflected on and that you can articulate. And of course, I also know that your spiritual journey is an unfolding one. And the other is what you are imagining or visualize or anticipate this next step, taking the spiritual direction program, means for you. How is it a part of your spiritual journey? How is that going to be applied? And we have had folks apply who want to be retreat leaders or run a retreat center. We've had folks who just want to take the program for their own spiritual deepening, just to continue to grow as a human. We've had folks whose profession is chaplain or parish minister or coven leader or elder, who just want to expand their skills within that role. I'm going off topic, but I hope this is relevant.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I don't. And it's good to see you again. I remember when I first started my CUPS group at Shoreline Unitarian Universalist Church,
Oh, sure.
you had just done it, and your hair was so short. Now it's so long.
Yes,
And I just wanted to say how much your sermon helped me at that time.
COVID. Yeah, and we're looking for folks who aren't biting off more than they can chew. And I don't know, those of you who've been through the application process more recently, if you want to answer that question, please do.
Any current spiritual direction students want to chime in? Well, and if in case you missed it, there are a couple of links that are in the chat. There's a link there to the spiritual direction, to more information about the spiritual direction program. And Holly also posted one about our other certificate, the community ministry certificate, which takes a completely different approach. And there's a couple of graduates present as well. So if there aren't any other questions or comments, I think we'll look to wrap things up. I just wanted to say, let's give Amy another round of applause as our winner. Congratulations again, Amy. And I want to put another link into the chat box. This is for the award, actually, to nominate your own favorite professor. It's not too early to think about 2023. We're always open for nominations. It's pretty easy to do. So you can take a look at that link. And even if you're not ready at this moment, you can certainly do that in the future, in the coming months. It's a wonderful way to recognize folks like Amy and Deidre. And again, any professor teaching this calendar year is eligible to win next time. So do keep someone in mind. Let's see, Holly had already added the votaries link. So if you're not a member of votaries, please consider doing so. You don't have to actually be a graduate to join. It's open to all Cherry Hill supporters as well as current students. So check that out, and I hope you'll join our community. And then last, a few more announcements. This academic year, Votaries is sponsoring Cherry Hill's free Coming to the Center lecture series. And I'm going to put a link to that in the chat box. If you may have seen information about this lately, Harvard scholar Giovanna Parmigiani, I think that's right, was going to be speaking in January, but she had an illness, and so we had to reschedule for Saturday, March the 5th. So put that on your calendar if you're free. And let me see. Oh, also for current Votaries members, please watch your email for an upcoming invitation to our spring social, which is planned for May. These socials are very casual and fun, where we can get to know one another, share news, and discuss all things pagan. So do keep an eye out for that. And last, I do want to thank today. I want to thank all the speakers. I want to thank Holly and Margot and Dana and Shannon for being a part of this today. Before we go, if anyone else has any questions or comments, raise your hand, speak now, or forever hold your peace. Oh, Deidre.
I want to thank Wes for all that he's been doing and leading this charge and taking on votives and all the work he's been doing for Cherry Hill as well. So thank you so much, Wes.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, with that, congratulations again, Amy, and thanks to everyone for joining us today, for taking a little time out of your Saturday. And be well, blessings, and have a great rest of the day.